Grace Watas, and today I will be discussing to you about the Module 3, Lesson 3.1, which is the fusion of history, artistry, and identity. So, for our table of contents, we have here the introduction, the motivational question, and if you have an activity, then you can have an activity. Then the content of my report, or what I will be tackling later, is about the Baro't saya, or the costumes, the national costumes we have in the Philippines. First, we have the Baro't saya, Clara, Traje de Mestiza, Terno, Balintawak, Kimona, Alampay, Kamisa, Barong Tagalog, Tausug Costume, Subanon Costume, then Ilocano Peasant Costume. And then lastly, we have the Serpentina. So, okay, for our introduction. So each region of the Philippines has its own distinct traditional clothing. It became our identity on what region of the Philippines we came from. Because as we can observe, in Tagalog or in Luzon, they are more on Maria Clara than on Visayas, or partly in Cebu, and on Western Visayas, which is somewhere in Iloilo. They are more on Kimona. And also we have here in Leyte, we are also wearing kimonas. So even before the colonial era, we, or our ancestors, have already established their identities through their clothings. Then for our motivational question, how would you elucidate the costumes of the Philippines? Then second, would you rather wear or use these costumes, especially during important events and gatherings? Explain why or why not. So we will start now from different costumes of the Philippines. And first we have the Baro't saya. Well, it is a national costume of the Philippines. Comes from the Tagalog word Baro't saya, which means the blouse, which is the upper garment, and the skirt or the saya is the lower garment. Then an elegant hybrid of Filipino and Spanish clothing style. Yes, because during the time of Baro't saya, it was murag naana nga ni siya fusion sa, cause that time kasi when Baro't saya was murag napa famous gani is because of the colonization of the Spaniards to the Philippines or to our country. That's why murag naana siya halo ang Baro't saya na siya halo nga Spanish style. Then it is made of pineapple cloth with an indigenous textile of the Philippine Islands, and the silhouette of the garment relates to traditional Spanish costume. Because as we can observe in Baro't saya, naa siya murag kanang silhouette kana ganing makita ang imong inner nga sulot, or like ang imong inner garment, like kung nagsando ka sa imong kuan, makita siya, mao na siya ang murag silhouette, makita ang kung unsay imong inner garment, particularly the cut of the sleeves and the shawl and the trailing skirt. So this is the example of the Baro't saya. As you can see, naa siya shawl, kanang pang-cover na siya sa shoulder or nganhi sa breast part sa girls. And then, so the baro is a butterfly sleeve made of fine fabrics. Kana na siya ang baro is sa upper garment ni siya. And then the saya is generally fashioned out of opaque plied or strip cotton and sinamay varieties. So, saya. So, sa lower garment na siya sa girl, as in ang skirt. Pero kana siya that skirt is kanang taas na siya, like kutob na siya sa 2 and heel sa girl. Because sa una is somewhat conservative. Labi na ang like when the Spaniards colonized the Philippines, Spaniards are like they are somewhat conservative. Labi na sa ilang like ilang panulot. And then alampay is made of fabric as the saya, and a square kerchief, also called as panuelo. So mauna siya ang i-cover nga di sa shoulder and sa breast parts sa girls. Then the tapis, an overskirt made of darker, thicker material wrapped around the lower half of the woman's body and tied at the waist or below the breast. So, kuana siya kanang tapis is like overskirt, like kanang, di ba kayo, naana ang saya. So, nagsaya na ta. Muna siya ang isapaw sa saya, sa barot saya. So, this is the example of panuelo. Elegant na siya kitaon. Then, this is the tapis. Kini siyang upper garment nga. Silhouette gani siya. Muna siya ang tapis. Then, next, from the Baro't saya, we will go to Maria Clara, which is just the evolution of Baro't saya. Hin-evolve ang Baro't saya into Maria Clara. So, Maria Clara is an aristocratic version of Baro't saya. Aristocrat na siya. Considered as a mestiza dress, since it is a symbol combining indigenous and Spanish influences. So, kini siya nga this Maria Clara is during sa time ni Dr. Rizal, where it became popular during the Spanish era at around 1980s. Yes, because where, as I mentioned earlier, it was its origin is from the traditional Baro't saya of the early Filipinos, where it in symbol a long sleeve, loose ni siya, murag kuan nga ni kanang di siya fit, so loose, long sleeve blouse over a wide ankle length skirt. So taas siya nga skirt kay somewhat conservative man ang kuan sa una. And then, so that is the example of Maria Clara, and we have also here this one. So the name Maria Clara, ang Maria Clara nga name was taken from the legendary heroine of the novel that was published by Dr. Rizal, which is the No Limitang Heri. Ang partner ni Rizal nga to is Maria Clara. And then, wherein Maria Clara is a symbol of virtues and the nobility of the Filipinas. And then, so we have here some. This Maria Clara consists of 4 separate pieces or garments. So, we have here first the baro or the kamisa, which is the upper garment. Then the saya, the lower garment. The panuelo, ang i-cover sa shoulder, and the tapis, just like the Baro't saya, but then nag-evolve lang siya. Then, so baro or kamisa is a collarless waist-length blouse with wrist-length embroidered flowing bell sleeves. So, dagko na siya ang sleeves para di gani siya mo kuan sa kuan. Kay murag gikuan nila sa atong country because atong country is a tropical country. So, murag ila po na siyang gibagay. And then saya, which is literally means skirt, a bubble-shaped floor-length skirt. So, taas na siya. Then, this paneled saya is as strongly contrasting or coordinate colored are shown alternately into a ballooning saya. So, balloon na ni siya ang Maria Clara. Ang saya niya. Then, the panuelo derived its name from the Spanish term let me balik ta nga rin sa Baro't saya. So it is made often made of a pineapple cloth or fiber. So sleeves were made wider, so wide na siya ang sleeves nga rin, and bell shape to suit the hot climate of the country, as what I have mentioned earlier nga murag gibagay siya sa atong kuan kay hot country man ta or like tropical country man ta, that's why. So the saya, so ang famous cuts or style of the saya of Maria Clara's is this paneled saya. That's why ang ballooning saya na siya. So next we have here the panuelo. A wide, stiff, triangular scarf covering the back and fastened securely in front by gold brooches or pins. Made of flimsiest fabrics like pineapple fabric and juicy. Juicy is banana silk na siya. So, ang Maria Clara is, as mentioned earlier, kuan siya kanang low neck siya. So we need pañuelo to cover the shoulder and the breast part of the kamisa or the Baro't. So kuan if you have watched the 1998 film, I think, The Mask of Sorrow, the girl character there named Elena de la Vega, ang iyang permisul uton na dresses as like a Maria Clara, na asya brooch nganhi kay low neck man ang iyahang mga ang iyahang baro or ang iyang kamisa. That's it. Then, the tapis, a hip-hugging knee-length overskirt. Balik naman siya ang tapis kaniha, no? Like, in adturagap siya. Where, it is an overskirt. Opaque muslin and madras were used for the overskirt. So, kini siya ang picture sa panuelo. Yeah. Elegant siya kitaon. Where at present, this tapis is worn during folk dances or theater performances, or this whole Maria Clara dress. It is also a formal wear used during some political and social gathering, sometimes worn by brides at their weddings. Kay elegant man siya kay taon. So, it can be, pwede siya suluton sa mga brides if they want to, sa ilang theme sa kasal. Then, the evolution of Maria Clara is Traje de Mestiza. So, from Baro't saya, Maria Clara, in-evolve na po siya into Traje de Mestiza. So, Traje de Mestiza is a stunning Filipino costume, which traje derives from the Spanish word for dress, and mestiza or mestizo came from the Latin word mix, so halo, mix. Then, wherein the kamisa became a clinging bodice with delicate oversized lace bell-shaped sleeves. So, murag na modern na siya ang Traje de Mestiza kay from Maria Clara, which is somewhat conservative pa siya, na modern siya nga rin sa kuan, wherein murag ang kamesa gani or ang baro is like mo fit na siya sa body. And then Traje de Mestiza, as I was mentioned earlier, is the evolution of Maria Clara. In fact, Maria Clara talaga siya, but then hin-evolve lang siya into Traje de Mestiza, which is trimmed into a shapely modernity. So, modern na siya. Okay, sorry. So, the saya became slimmer that burst out at the hem into a flare and acquired a train, or is called saya de cola, or saya de cola is skirt with a tail. So naana siya murag kana murag kag ikasal nga naay taas nga sa likod, murag naay tail. Inaana na ang traje de mesa, traje de mestiza. So I think we have some example here. Yes, that is. So at the second picture, as you can observe, naana siya murag tail nga sa kuan, pero fit na ni siya, unlike sa Maria Clara. So next is also the evolution. So we have from the Baro't saya, Maria Clara, Traje de Mestiza, then the I think this is the last evolution of Baro't saya, the Terno. So Terno is a national dress of the Philippines. Combines Western influences with indigenous design. Actually, the time period of this Terno was about 19th century to 1950s. Na-revive ni siya, kay murag nawa man siya pagkakuan sa mga 1950s, nawa ang Terno. Then it was revived in the year 1980s. Until present day, until today. So, kuana ni siya like Western influences na ni siya, no? Ang kuana ni siya like ang pagsud na ni sa American colonization in the Philippines. Napulihan na ang Spaniards. So, the characteristic of a terno: a butterfly sleeves flat, oversized high peak sleeves that are rounded at the shoulders by the pleats using stiff cotton, pineapple fabric, or synthetic fabrics. So combines naman siya of Western influences with indigenous design. So it is usually worn during formal functions such as government events or like weddings. Mo ni siya ang example sa terno. And then ang iyahang sleeve is like this, what we have in this picture, the first picture that had shown. And then like this terno helps to encourage more people to strengthen the Filipino pride. And this terno was brought to the public eye in 1965 when Imelda Marcos, the first lady of the President Ferdinand Marcos, mauna ni siya ang siya ang brought to the public eye sa kani siya nga terno kadtong na president or naanay power si Ferdinand Marcos. And then this terno, as we can observe sa tulo nga iyang gigikanan, like from Baro't saya, Maria Clara, and Traje de Mestiza, they have tapis. Here in terno, kitanggal nila ang tapis. They omit tapis for they believe or considered tapis as a garment for servants. So, gitanggal na nila ang tapis, as you can observe in the picture, the second picture, wala na siya tapis. So, kuha na lang talaga siya and wala na siya panuelo. So, this is Terno as during the American occupation in the Philippines na. There is no Spaniards na that this time. So, next, we have the Balintawak. Balintawak is also a traditional Filipino costume for female that has shortened skirt and a love-cut bodies and plenty of embroidery. So, daghan ragap siya of designs. Was worn during picnics and other jaunts and to the countryside. Jaunts is like journey or trip. Ano siya. Then, yes, just like that. Mura na siya, ordinary na lang na pang everyday, gani siya nga suluton. Then, this is during the era wherein Spanish ruled or colonized the Philippines pa. Bihap. This is a native dress for Filipino consisting a dress and a skirt that is woven of local fibers with a kerchief and apron. As you can observe, naa siya kerchief nanhi and naa siya apron. That this is the Balintawak. So, it also has a features, a white or cream colored blouse with puffy butterfly short sleeve. So, ang atong nakita ganiha sa picture, yeah, naapagap siya sleeve nga ang pariha sa terno. And then, a V-neck that is wrapped around the body and has a plenty of ornate, embroidery. So, a low cuff to floor-length skirt. Naa siya floor-length skirt ang Balintawak and naa po siya knee-length lang. So, next we have the Kimona. Represents the fashion of Visayas. So, as I have mentioned earlier nga, ang Maria Clara is more nga suluton sa mga Tagalog or like from Luzon. So, ang kimona nag-represent sa fashion of Visayas. So, a blouse with a matching knee-length skirt printed with patadyong pattern is called a patadyong skirt. Okay? Ang skirt na may patadyong pattern, so that is called patadyong skirt. So, accompanied above the right shoulder. Okay, a transparent piece of clothing made of pineapple fiber. Yes, this kana siya, kimona. Usually worn na nato siya during August, like our grade school years. Usually worn during August, during buwan ng wika. And it is also worn for everyday activities as casual dress or for formal occasions. Gihapon siya. Sa ato lang today is di man ta magkikimona for everyday use. We just use kimona for some events or usually the buwan ng wika, which is in August. And then often placed above the right shoulder. Kana siya. Natingon na siya. So, kimona with a patadyong skirt, we have some example here. That, ang kini nga ni siyang ang handkerchief nga often placed above the right shoulder. Mauni siya, kini siyang murag. Pareha ang design sa patadyong skirt na naa siya nga rin nakabutang. Ana. That is, ana ang design sa kimona with patadyong skirt. So, next, we have the Alampay. Alampay is also called as panuelo. Mentioned naman siya earlier. And a shawl or loosely worn over the shoulder. So, manhi siya ibutang over the shoulder. Usually a rectangular or square piece of cloth, which is often folded to make it a triangle. Yeah, that's an example. Elegant siya kitaon pag magsulot ka og alampay. Next, we have the kamisa, a collarless shirt with 2 or 3 button opening at the front sleeve. At the front and sleeves without cuffs. As naka-observe mo sa Amerikana ba ng tawag ana? Kailangan ng tuxedo, like that. Na ang dinhi nga part murag kung sa ato nga mga ordinary people, button lang na siya, like butones lang na siya. But then sa mga wealthy, cuffs na siya, kanang murag ilang iipit nganhi, ang murag ilang himuong batonis, cuffs na siya. And then, so kamesa don't have cuffs, often made of cotton or any other fabrics. So this is the example, kana siya. Where this kamesa or the kamesa de chino is often confused with the barong. Maglahi na sila. They are totally different because they're different with the Barong Tagalog, but then they are connected. They are a separate garment but are connected. Connected sila. Because kamisa de chino, pwede siya maging undergarment sa Barong Tagalog. Ang Barong Tagalog baya kay muragan siya transparent that we need to use an undergarment para, of course, formal siya kitaon. And then, this kamesa is less formal sa Barong. And it is also attributed to the Chinese laborers. Yes, it is often made of cotton or any other fabrics. Kanang kay undergarment man siya, pwede siya i-undergarment and pwede siya himuon nga upper garment without any barong as an overshirt. And then, this is made of cotton nga kanang appropriate lang siya for wearing against bare skin, kanang gani magkuan-kuan imong panit. So dapat appropriate lang siya. Then next, this is the Barong Tagalog, a traditional Filipino attire referred to as baro ng Tagalog, or the dress of the Tagalog. An embroidered long-sleeve formal shirt for men and a national dress of the Philippines made of juicy material or a banana silk or pineapple fabric. So this is the example of koansyo. As you can see, mura na siya pang over the Barong Tagalog is mura na siya pang over skirts, and you need to have an undergarment kung di mo gusto makita ang imong lawas. That is the Barong Tagalog. So wait, so Barong Tagalog ano siya, Barong Tagalog has a combined elements from both pre-colonial native Filipino and colonial Spanish clothing style. So halo gihap ni siya just like the Baro't saya. And then in modern times, traditionally kasi Barong Tagalog is made of sheer textiles or the nipis, what they call nipis, woven from pinya or from abaca. And then in modern times, they use a cheaper materials just like silk, rame, or polyester to make Barong Tagalog. So, Barong Tagalog went through several evolutions during the Spanish colonial period. So, mura ni siya sa Clara. Clara when nag-evolve into Maria Clara, then nag-evolve into Traje de Mestiza, and then lastly the Terno. So Barong Tagalog also has his own evolution. So during the 17th century, no, the 1970s or 1700s, the barong worn by ilustrados were greatly influenced by the Spaniards who wear dressy shirts with standing collars. So standing pa ang collar sa during the 700s nga Barong Tagalog na influenced by the Spanish or the Spaniards. And then, after the 18th century, Barong ditched the collar into a shorter lapel. So, from standing, naging short lapel na lang siya with a higher hemline, and instead of being worn with loose trousers, it was paired with tight pants with big military stripes and with a colored silk handkerchief and accessories. So, during the 18th century, ang collar sa Barong Tagalog is like hinggamay na lang siya. Naging short siya. Naging shorter lapel na siya. Tas, worn or paired with tight pants. While during the 1700s, ang pants is kanang loose. Di siya tight. Just a loose one. Sakto lang. But this time, during the 18th century, tight pants na ang pares sa Barong Tagalog. Then, by the 19th century, barong featured a smaller collar and all-over embroidery, buttoned on the chest. So, pareha nga rin sa example nga smaller collar na lang siya, and then siya button sa chest, as you can observe, and then embroidered na siya, siya mga embroidery. And then, during the 20th century, wherein the country or the Philippines gained independence, it became more flamboyant style to celebrate freedom. So naging siya, nga nakuha na nato ang atong independence. So mauna ni siya ang suluton. The new barong is made of juicy or the banana silk and cinnamon, showcased elaborate designs, including more colors, ruffled collars, various patterns such as flowers, stripes, and more, and an intricate embroidery, and with cups. So, ganiha, ang without cups is the Kamisa. So, this time, the barong has cups. Then, later on, this barong, so, mauna man ni siya, during the 20th century, is gigamit ang barong because we gained our independence from the colonizers. So, later on, popularized, Barong Tagalog was popularized by former President Ramon Magsaysay, as he is the first president to wear Barong Tagalog at his inauguration. So, Barong Tagalog, until today, symbolizes of the Filipino independence and the resistance of colonization. Mauna siya ang symbolize sa Barong Tagalog up until today. Next, we have the Tausug Costume. Tausug Costume. So, Tausug Costume, the native attire of the Tausug people. So, we have for male, the Baju Lapi, a back-tight blouse with gold buttons. And then, kupot is a tight pants. So, paired ni siya. Pair na silang duha. So, this is the example of baju lapi and kupot for male. As you can observe, tight blouse siya with a gold buttons. So, naa siya buttons nga sa chest part. And kupot is a tight pants. As you can observe, tight pants siya. Then, next we have for formal and formal occasion. For formal and formal occasions, they have what they call batawi, a blouse with tight fitting bodies. And then can be made out of velvet or silk and is jeweled with a gold buttons. Makita ra natong example later. Then sablay, for formal occasion gihapon ni siya nga costume for female. So a loose long sleeve garment mostly worn attire during weddings and also for any other occasion. So we have the example. This is the example for the female costume, Tausug costume. This is the batawi. The second picture that is shown is the batawi. And then, for attire for daily use for females is sambra, a loose short sleeve lace on the sleeves and on the front of the opening. I have some example later. And then a collarless blouse with a V-shaped neck. Then supa also is for a daily use costume for females or for girls. A combined design of a pukul tando and a sambra. It can be made of silk or cotton. Kaya pang for daily use naman lang siya. So we have the example here of sambra. That is sambra. Pambahay lang siya. And then the sawal is used to pair with batawi. Ang pang formal occasion for girls. So that is the sawal, a loose trousers. That one. And as you can observe, mura ra siya sa atong generation karon. Mura ra siya square pants, diba? So next we have the subanon or the subanin Subanin or Subanon costume has a upper and lower garment with headdresses and other accessories. So, daghan ni sila pamutang sa ilang lawas. For male, they have a sub ang tawag, a long sleeve, tight-fitting upper garment. That is the long sleeve siya, with tight-fitting upper garment. Mauna siya ang sub for male. Then, ang salwal or ang sandaya sa male, for the Subanon costume, they have two types. The first one is the binugis or purol. A loose waistline bust fastened using a bilyangin, or it is also a short pants. So, from knee length lang siya. Knee length lang ni purol. As you can, murag purol is gamit pang putingalo siya sa Bisaya, I think. And bilyangin is a belt, an abaka belt. Abaka belt na siya. Then, second, we have the pinusuan or kinancho. A loose waistline fastened using a bilyangan or a long pants. Ang purol is short pants. Ang kinancho is long pants. Muna siya ang two types sa salwal or sandiawa of the Subanon costume. So, they have some colors, which is black is for household, for everyday use, I think. Farm activities, ritual festivals, or weddings. For white, pwede siya pang household, farm activities, pwede siya pang rituals and other gatherings. Ang kinancho is for weddings and boklog. Boklog is like murag ko ano siya, kanang gathering ano. So for the headdresses of the boys, we have the, and I'm sorry for the I don't have the picture for the Subanon costume for the salwal because I can't find anything in the internet talaga. So hard to find this on the internet. So for the headdresses, it's called tulapok or mamandio, a striped medium-sized square piece of cloth. And then it has a types of folding. The first is tinugaya, enclosing the head and tied at the front. So naa sa front ang paghigot. And then second is tinampad, enclosing and folded diagonally and tied at the front. The front ra lagi gyud. So tied at the left ang tinugaya, left side. Ang tinampad is at the front and the manumpilot is tied at the back. So for the accessories, the sabat or bitak, a necklace made of beads, and then the gilang, a round shaped bracelet made of gold, and then the singil, round shaped anklet made of gold. So we have here some example of tinugaya. So sa left ang pagtied, for the tinampad sa front, for the manumpilot is at the back siya. So we will move to for the female, which is the upper garment, is also called a sab, a tight-fitting long sleeves decorated with thick threads. I have some example later. For the lower garment is the tapis, a rectangular piece of clothing starting from the ankle to the waist. So murag pareha ra gyud siya sa barong Baro't sayang ana ay tapis. And then a waistline fastened using bilyangin. So naagi hapon siya a baka belt. So the upper garment, kung if naa kasi siya color categorization, kung black siya, used for household, farm activities, ritual, festival, or gatherings. Kung white siya, is for weddings or for special gatherings. And for the lower garment, wala man siya naka-indicate sa category of the color. So this is, so we have the headdress, the magpandio, a striped square piece of cloth. For the accessories, pareha lang gihapon siya ang sa boys ganiha. Ang for female. So this is the example of sub for girls, the upper garment of the girls. Yes. So you can see it is tight fitting, long sleeves siya, and decorated with thick threads. So as you can observe, tanod na siya. Yes, this also. So magpandio for their headdress, that's it. Stripe, square piece of cloth. Whereas sa boys, ang boys lang is naa siya types of folding, wherein the girls bisag onsa lang. So next, we have the Ilocano Peasant Costume. It is a two-piece ensemble blouse and skirt. Kimona, a blouse either plain white or pastel with a cowl neckline. Pandiling, a full-length skirt, cone-shaped with a drawstring around the waist, made from handloom woven textile. So, Ilocano Peasant Costume reflects the quality of the Ilocano, or the aura of the quiet beauty, appealing, and dignity of Ilocano females. The colors expresses their modesty and simplicity. So, for the pandiling, full and skirt siya. Okay. The designs are, ang design sa pandiling are inspired by the things we have and the nature. So, a tapis is a colorful wrap around which complements the pandiling. So, they have a footwear, chinelas. They have chinelas for everyday footwear made of leather. And then, for the kutso, a formal footwear made of beaded felt and leather. So, this cocho is used or worn during Sundays or fiesta, wherein ang chinelas is for everyday use lang siya. This is the example of kimona in the pandiling. Siya. Then the tapis, just like the tapis that we have mentioned a while ago in the earlier discussion. So, the last one, we have the serpentina, a dress or gown fitted at the waist and hips gown before flaring out into a fishtail silhouette, usually worn or used during weddings. As for the bride's dresses, so we have some example of serpentina, the head-to-toe lace that complements the beauty of the body of the bride. As you can see, fishtail silhouette talaga siya. And then we have here the off-shoulder neckline. That is very elegant dress. Then third, they inject character with a cut-out neckline and a tulle skirt. Ano siya? You can observe, mura siya off-shoulder lang gihapon. Nice iya design. Fourth one, the strapless gown. This the stunning strapless gown. Then next we have the sheer jeweled panels. It is as pretty as a diamond. This serpentina dresses or gowns is for astonishing entourage of the brides. And then décolletage with a corset-like bodies. Mga nice talaga siya na dresses. This is the dream gowns or dresses of the females or the women's or the brides to be. So I think that's all. So thank you. This is me again, Grace Watas. I hope you learned from the discussion or from my report, and Thank you again for listening.